Today I'd like to tell you a bit about the history of Rainbow Faith and Freedom, this organization that I founded, whose purpose is to confront and diminish religious-based discrimination against the LGBTI community. I'm Reverend Dr. Brent Hawks. I was a senior pastor for many years, and now I am the executive director of Rainbow Faith and Freedom. You know, in all of my years as a senior pastor, there were many times I was involved in social justice issues around LGBTI issues. And often that activity was very reactive. The police would do something and we'd respond or protest or lobby. There'd be a piece of legislation, we'd respond to try to pass it or defeat it. There would be something would happen against members of the community and we would respond. And I always wanted to be more proactive, to plan how could we reduce the situation from happening in the first place. But I really couldn't get at it because I was a pastor of a large church, so I had to wait until retirement. So in 2015, I took a sabbatical and I went to a variety of different countries, met many, many individuals, in fact, 10 international LGBT organizations. And I went to New York, Washington, and Geneva. And I was taking a look at the state of LGBTI human rights internationally, especially around religious-based discrimination. And I found that most of those organizations, LGBTI organizations, were proudly secular. And they weren't addressing the religious issues. Fighting religion, yes, but not addressing the core issues. And so I asked those organizations, I was dressed like this, and I said, my impression is you're proudly secular and you see religion as the enemy. And they almost all said yes. And I said, so you're doing nothing to work with gay, lesbian Christians or Muslims or Jews? And they said nothing. So I said that if I started an organization to confront religious-based discrimination, changing hearts and minds so that families and local faith communities were more safe, would you work with me? And they all said absolutely. Overwhelming support. And they also commented that they felt that while there are brave individuals doing this work all over the world, it's not coordinated. They're not supported. No one's looking at best practices. What would work in one country? Would it work in another country or not? So with all this positive feedback, I continue to work on the concept for the organization, check with other people for ideas, etc. And so when I retired at the end of January in 2018, the work began. Formed a steering committee which drafted our vision, our mission, our 3 key pillars, our manifesto, and our values of the organization. That sounds simple, but that took weeks, months of work, of discussion. The name Rainbow Faith and Freedom was chosen. And the organization was mandated to tackle religious-based discrimination against the LGBTI community, particularly religious-based homophobia and religious-based transphobia. All over the world, activists were saying that religious-based discrimination was the main obstacle to human rights. In 2018, the Parliament of World Religions met here in Toronto. It's the largest gathering of people of faith in the world. Tens of thousands of people from all of the world's major religions come together for many different workshops and services and events. And there had never been any LGBTI content. Never had been a workshop on gay or lesbian or trans issues. So the folks here in Toronto getting ready to welcome the Parliament of World Religions to our city, we lobbied the headquarters of the Parliament of World Religions for some content. And they were amazing. They said, yes, give us ideas. And so we did, and there were numerous workshops sponsored by various LGBTI communities of various different faith backgrounds at the Parliament. And the very next day, we had planned a one-day symposium with 25 activists from around the world to give us input on the vision and the strategy of Rainbow Faith and Freedom. And we got some great ideas for improving what we were going to be doing. After that, we had numerous other consultations on our values to get feedback, on how to work with people on the ground in other countries, on what were the real issues here in Canada as well. I made some trips in 2019 and 2020 and made some great connections and began to raise the profile of Rainbow Faith and Freedom. In 2019, we got not-for-profit status, and we have now applied for charitable status. In the meantime, we built some partnerships because this work is not going to get done successfully without really good partnership relationships. So we have developed partnerships with the Global Justice Institute out of New York, with EGAL Canada here in Canada, with the Commonwealth Equality Network. That's the organization of LGBT groups around the world who are part of the Commonwealth of Nations. and the Global Interfaith Network out of South Africa. We have a number of other organizations we're also working with and developing partnerships. We've developed our structure. We have a board, we have staff, we have teams, volunteer, finance, community outreach, communications, IT, fundraising, Canadian pillar, international pillar, resource pillar. So that's how we pull this organization together. It's been a very, very exciting beginning. In my next video about Rainbow Faith and Freedom, I'm going to talk about those three pillars, those three major program areas of activity. They're exciting. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your family and friends. And don't forget to subscribe. And if you click the little button, the bell button beside the subscribe button, then you can get a notice whenever we post a new video. Thank you.